I'm going to try pulling in this video just a couple of different pulling techniques. This is not a how-to or telling you what to do or anything. This is just pointing out some different techniques that different people like to use when using their horses. So let's get into it. So there's two main techniques, and then there's a lot of combinations of those techniques for the most part. It's actually more complicated than that, but we're going to try to keep it simple. So there's jumping the load, which is when the horse takes his back feet and kind of hops, does that hopping motion. I've heard it called bunny hopping. I've heard it called all kinds of things. Different places call it different things. I don't know what the proper terminology of it is for. The other one is called getting down and walking with a load. That's when the horse takes 1 foot on each side and walks with it, basically, instead of jumping and hopping with it. So there's jumping the load and it's getting down and walking with it. That's what we're going to refer to these techniques as. Let's look at an illustration of a horse jumping the load.
And two.
Now we're going to watch the illustration of horses walking with the load. So you saw in that last little clip, boom, start out by walking with the load, took one hop, and then kept on walking with it. Let's look at another example. These horses are going to start out jumping the load and then get down and walk with it. And right here you see Gus on the right walking with the load, and you see Boom on the left jumping the load. And right here you're going to see Gus and Boom get down and walk with it. And another example of them getting down and walking with it. So everybody wants to see something different on horses, and for different reasons. Most of my experience comes from the woods, and I kind of train my horses for that. So now this is where we start, getting underneath people's skins a little bit. I'm not going to get too deep into this just to avoid some of that. Why would someone have their horses jump the load over walk, or have their horses get down and walk with it? Well, this clip we're about to watch shows that some advantage with this specific type of pull to the horses jumping the load a little bit, perhaps. The blocks, you'll notice when the horses take off, the blocks rock to the back, and when the horses have their legs come up to take another stroke and power down with it again, that pause, the blocks shift back to the front. When the horses take off again and stroke, the blocks shift back and shift forward, shift back. Actually notice they're shifting so much in there, a block actually falls out, which is somewhat common. So they're not moving all that weight at the precise 1,000th of a second. There is some give and flop in there. So they're bumping the load. When they bump the load, the front slide comes up slightly. The block shifts to the back, and it's not as solid of a load in a sense. So as the slide's moving forward, it's actually speeding up, slowing down as it moves forward. In the woods, I would say that's a detriment. It's not a very efficient use of energy, nor is our weight loose like that. It's not, logs don't have that flop to them. So at this type of horse pull, inside this scenario, this could be a advantage to having your horses jump the load. Let's watch that again. Okay, so why would you want your horses to get down and walk with a load instead of jumping the load? There's quite a few reasons to two different things. And some people, let's say you're working on a steep hillside. If your horses are going airborne and coming back down, you got two horses side by side on a steep hillside, one trips and bumps into each other, it just increases the odds of something bad happening. Also, when the horse jumps the load is slowing down and speeding up as it's going forward. So imagine you're pulling a really heavy load up a hill with your truck, and you're on and off the gas constantly, and you're constantly slowing down, speeding up as you're going up. Well, you're adding, your fuel mileage is going to be horrific, and you're adding some extra wear possibly to things. So if you're making your living, paying your bills with that animal, possibly, if you're using their energy bank inefficiently, you're not going to move as much weight throughout that day or as much board footage throughout that day for the same amount of effort. So you're not going to make as much money, and per board foot moved, it's going to be a little bit less efficient, quite possibly. So yeah, there's some safety reasons inside different scenarios, maybe some control issues. If a horse keeps their feet down, you just have a little bit better control over them. Perhaps there's different reasons for that. And mud is another big one. If your horse is jumping the load in mud, you're not going to do real well. I've probably pissed off enough people. If anybody said, well, why are you doing this video? Why is somebody with a lot more experience? You've barely horse pulled. You've not done this your whole life or anything like that. I don't know. There's several people. I can name off several YouTube channels that I would thoroughly enjoy. If they did a video on this, and they even if they're disagreeing with me, I would thoroughly enjoy watching it and learning from it. Yeah, I think that's deep enough. There's a lot of opinions out there. Like I said, I'm not aware of any case studies. I can't point to any actual science. And even if there was out there, if it wasn't really well researched and really well done, it wouldn't be very good. There's too many variations. So, I think that's it, guys. If you got any questions, leave them below. I'll go ahead and name drop if Brent Ainsworth wanted to do a video on this. I'll be very interested in that. If Working Horses with Jim wanted to do a video on this subject, I'd be very interested in that. Even if they're disagreeing with me, I would thoroughly enjoy watching it. So yeah, there's probably a lot I'm leaving out, and some is on purpose, but y'all can leave it in the comments. So y'all have a great day.